Imagine being the mayor of London, making a controversial statement about a hugely divisive chant, and then having your own party leader publicly slap you down so hard that you can probably still feel it 3 days later. That's exactly what just happened to Sadiq Khan, and honestly, the level of political embarrassment here is absolutely off the charts. Sir Keir Starmer just threw his own London mayor directly under the bus, reversed over him for good measure, and then parked on top of him while giving a speech about how seriously he takes antisemitism. This isn't just a disagreement between Labour colleagues. This is a full-blown public execution, and it exposes a massive fault line running straight through the heart of the Labour Party. Let's rewind to where this absolute car crash started, because the context here is crucial. Last Thursday, Sadiq Khan was at Mayoral Question Time. You know, that thing where elected officials are supposed to answer questions from the public and other politicians. Someone asked him a pretty straightforward question. Do you think pro-Palestine protesters screaming from the river to the sea is antisemitic? Now, this isn't exactly a trick question. It's a phrase that's been the subject of massive controversy, countless debates, and has been widely condemned by Jewish communities who see it as a call for Israel's destruction. Most politicians, even ones sympathetic to the Palestinian cause, handle this question with extreme care, usually saying something diplomatic about respecting all communities while condemning hate speech. Standard political play. Keep everyone relatively happy. Move on. But not Sadiq Khan. Oh no. Khan decided this was a perfect moment for what I can only describe as a catastrophically bad take. He said, and I quote, "I don't think it's anti-Semitic. I think it's all about context." Context. Context. This is a political equivalent of saying it depends what you mean by fire while standing next to a burning building. The phrase "from the river to the sea" refers to the area between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, which is basically all of Israel. When people chant Palestine will be free from the river to the sea, critics argue they are calling for the elimination of Israel as a Jewish state. Whether you think that interpretation is fair or not, you cannot deny that Jewish communities across Britain find it deeply offensive and threatening. Saying it's all about context is like watching someone pour petrol on a fire and saying, well, in the right context, petrol can be quite useful. The fallout from Khan's comments was immediate and absolutely brutal. When Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood was asked on Monday whether she agreed with the London mayor, she straight up refused to answer. That's not a good sign. When a member of your own government won't back you up, when they'd rather say nothing than defend you, you know you mess up spectacularly. It's the political equivalent of your best mate being asked if they agree with something you said, and them suddenly developing selective hearing and intense interest in their shoelaces. And then came the main event, the moment Sadiq Khan probably wishes he could erase from existence. Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, the leader of the Labour Party, the man who literally campaigned on rooting out antisemitism from Labour, was asked directly about Khan's comments at an event. And Starmer didn't just disagree with Khan. He didn't just politely correct him. He absolutely demolished him with a kind of public rebuke that ends political careers. Starmer said the phrase is anti-Semitic. Full stop. No context needed. No wiggle room. Case closed. Then, just to make absolutely sure everyone understood that he was throwing Khan under bus, he reminded everyone that he's expelled people from the Labour Party for using that exact phrase. Let me repeat that. Starmer has kicked people out of Labour for saying something that Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, a prominent Labour figure, just offended on national television. The level of public humiliation here cannot be overstated. This is a Prime Minister telling one of his party's most high-profile elected officials that is wrong about a fundamental issue of antisemitism, and doing it in the most public way possible. Starmer didn't send a private text, didn't have a quiet word, didn't try to paper over the cracks. He went full nuclear option in front of journalists and made it crystal clear that Khan's position is unacceptable. It's like if your boss, instead of calling you into their office for a chat, decided to tell you off over the company-wide email system and copied in the entire organization, including your mum. Starmer's comments were particularly pointed because he emphasized his own record on fighting antisemitism within Labour. He said, "The first task I had as leader of the Labour Party was to root out antisemitism in my party. I made that the first priority. I knew that we wouldn't be able to put ourselves before the electorate before we'd dealt with that in our party." This is Starmer reminding everyone that he spent years cleaning up Labour's image after the Corbyn era when the party was absolutely plagued with antisemitism scandals. He basically rebuilt Labour's relationship with the Jewish community from the ground up, and now Sadiq Khan's gone and threatened to undo all that work with one spectacularly misjudged answer at question time. But Starmer wasn't finished. He went on to talk about the cumulative effect of repeated pro-Palestine marches and the chants used by some, not all, protesters. He is clearly concerned that these demonstrations, which have been happening regularly in London for months, are having a negative impact on Jewish communities. And then he dropped this absolute bombshell. He's asked the Home Secretary to carry out a review into the cumulative impact of these protests. That's not just words. That's action. That's the Prime Minister saying we need to actually investigate whether these demonstrations are causing harm and potentially do something about it. When asked specifically about Khan's comments, Starmer didn't back down 1 millimeter. He said he takes a strong view on this and pointed out that Labour has dealt with party members who've used their expression by taking action against them. Translation: I've expelled people for this. So yes, Sadiq, you're absolutely in the wrong here, and if you weren't the mayor of London, I'd probably be considering what to do with you too. The response from other politicians has been absolutely savage and reveals just how isolated Khan is on this issue. James Cleverly, the former Conservative Home Secretary, absolutely tore into Khan, saying, "From the river to the sea is a chant that calls for wiping the world's only Jewish state from the map. It is patently absurd to claim it is not antisemitic." He then accused Khan of letting down London's Jewish community, which is a kind of accusation that stings because there's a grain of truth to it. When you're the mayor of a city with a significant Jewish population and you're defending a chant they find deeply threatening, you're not exactly covering yourself in glory. Thanks for watching UK Secrets. If this deep dive into Labour's civil war was your cup of tea, smash that like button, subscribe for more political drama, and let me know in the comments whether you think Starmer was right to publicly slap down Khan or if this is going to backfire. See you next time.